vlog. It's pre-op time for me, so I will let you know how things pan out. I'll take you along on this journey. I'll try and do a bit of filming, but I don't know how much I'll be able to get done because of people, you know, confidentiality and things, and they don't tend to like you filming in hospitals and all that. But I'll try and film a bit of footage, and I will let you know how things go along with the day. So I'll see you in my next clip. Hi guys, just giving you an update. I've just finished having my preoperative assessment, which I think went well, all being considered, even though it was a long drive up here. But I'm now on the list, although I thought I was on the list before, so I don't really know how much longer it'll be, but I know that the pre-ops only last for about 12 weeks in the UK, so I would think it will be before about November, I'm hoping, or hopefully before then, but he wouldn't commit to a date. I'll give you more of a sort of update on what the procedure will actually be now that I understand a bit more about it. God, I'm getting terrible frown lines now. And I'll give you a proper update when I'm back home, so I'll see you in the next clip. Well, I remember to say, I had two lovely nurses doing the pre-op, so I have to say that went sort of fairly swimmingly easily. It took a while to get blood out of me, as it usually does, and to go through my medical history, which now is fairly considerable. But they do everything on the computer now, which is quite sort of, is better communication with the ward and the pre-op unit than used to be, although they do still fill in a big massive book about you and then add in a load of scores, which apparently has to do with your risk and things like that. So that was interesting, and I was quite sort of oddly freaked out by the booklet saying major surgery on it. I don't know why I should be freaked out, because I've done this several times, but there you go. But anyway, I shall give you the surgeon drew out a diagram for me of what the operation will look like, so I'll enlighten you all to that when I get back to a place with a table and I can lay it all out. I've just had a cup of tea and some biscuits, because worryingly they tested my blood sugar and that was a bit low. So, but she asked what time I ate breakfast, which was a bit worrying, because we'd come about sort of 50 miles or something ridiculous, and I'd had to be up at in the middle of the night to get ready, because I hadn't got the carers accessible to me. So I'd had to have sort of something to eat in the middle of the night, so obviously by 9 o'clock in the morning that's kind of wearing off a bit. But hey ho, hopefully the worst bit's done, and I've just got to wait for my postal COVID test, and I've got all instructions to do with how to carry that out and all that kind of thing. So I'm relieved that I don't have to have another journey up here, because it's a bit of a jaunt, to say the least. But it was, I mean, I think it took them longer to find my veins than anything, and they mentioned my heart rate being fast, but we've had that all investigated and that's normal, so I think I'm about as healthy as I'm ever likely to be again, really. So I think I'm well up for this surgery, because the pain is getting insane. so it would be good to get it over with. We decided to make the best of the preoperative experience, and we had a bit of a dad and daughter date. So we went into the village, which is coincidentally where my dad used to work. So, and Scout came with us too, so that was nice. And we went into the memorial gardens as well, which were very beautiful. And we also saw a statue of Wilfred Owen, one of the war poets from World War One, and it's very beautiful. It has some of his writing in the statue itself, which is excellent. So it's about a week from my pre-op. It's taken slightly longer for me to get around to filming this video than I would have liked, but accidentally the diagram of the hip and things that I wanted to show you got picked up by one of the nurses, and she's very thoughtfully mailed it back to me, which was very nice of her. So I'll just show you that now. Well, I'll explain what he's actually going to do in the surgery. It's called a shoe-necker procedure, and he's only done 5 of these, so I'm rather worried I'm going to screw his statistics by something terribly going wrong, but you know, he was very nice and said you can only do what you can do in relation to me being worried about that. So I've got better frown lines now, actually. Now I'm not sitting in the sun. And it was better to look at the diagram when I remembered my glasses, which I hadn't, because it was early when we left. I'd forgotten them. So he even noticed I'd got no spectacles on, which was nice. So anyway, so the shoe-necker procedure, they open up your pelvis, they detach the muscles, then they basically take off the offending ball joint of the hip, and then kind of reattach the muscles, and then pad up the space, like the remaining hip space you've got, from what I understand. So my leg will extensively be a floppy leg, which will be, well, at least that's what he says. I'm not entirely sure it's going to be as floppy as he thinks because of my severe tone. He talked again briefly about the idea of me having an actual hip replacement, but then we both agreed that it was probably not a good idea because over the last 4 years he's gone backwards and forwards on this one, because my spasticity, even for somebody with cerebral palsy, well, with spastic diplegia cerebral palsy, I've got a massive level of tone, because I've also got some spinal inflammation and spinal damage, so that sort of contributes to it as well. So I wanted to just cut out the middleman, because I could almost see that if I had a hip replacement, I haven't got enough of a socket, I haven't got much socket depth, so heaven knows what they'd have to do to rectify that. And B, I have so much tone that I'm at massive risk of spontaneous dislocation, and I've also got a history of osteomyelitis where I was on antibiotics for years for that's a chronic bone infection. So I have no wish to sort of have an extra foreign body in my bones where something like that could sort of precipitate that to happen again. Now, I'm at risk of it having a reoccurrence anyway at some point, because some doctors seem to say you can reoccur even years after it's been dormant, and it's been dormant for about a decade and a half now, so I'm very lucky in that respect. So, and I'm also lucky in the fact I didn't lose my leg in the original sort of osteomyelitis deal. I'll tell you that story at some point, but I shall show you the video where he just drew out the hip and then explained where the muscles would be detached from, and then the bone would be detached. So I'll include a picture at the end of this clip of the diagram, because it should be on my kitchen table, so it's easy enough to do. So I'm just waiting now for a date, as I mentioned, and hopefully get this show on the road. He mentioned that because I have caregivers, he should be able to get me out of hospital sooner, which would be nice. And you don't have to stay, because originally I was told it would be 6 weeks on your front on a bed, which I wasn't looking forward to. But now with this new technique, you don't have to do that, and he should be able to get me out of hospital within, like, he reckoned the most it would be is like 7 days in hospital, although my team down here just rolled their eyes at that one, because you know, I once went in for 3 days and stayed for 6 weeks, so they're fairly used to things happening to me. But they did take on board the fact that I am very, very, very prone to dehydration very quickly, and that is what has made me more ill in the past. And I've also had problems with post-operative chest infections, so hopefully they'll be sort of very much more on the watch for that. And I can have an ambulance transport home, so he's hoping that I can do most of my recovery in bed in my own house, which would be very good, because I miss the cats very much indeed. So it'll be nice to be able to see them and be in my own surroundings, where you can have cups of tea and things when you want them. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Okay. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and even share if you've got something out of this. And see you next week.